Yes, so you're live, and we are setting up Facebook to just set up because my lovely mothers are waking up different parts of the world, and they definitely a lot of times join us in the comments.
You're
Yeah.
live.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So all the setup is ready. Good evening. I'm so excited. Good evening and good morning from many, many places. I know a lot of good mornings are happening, and a lot of you come in the chat when you've just woken up with your cup of tea and you're looking at these interviews. 69 moms, reaching 70, so close, getting there. 30 more moms. I don't know who those 30 moms would be, but the mom I have today has been a mom in my mind even before this project started. She's been around me, and we finally brought her here. Saskia, it's a pleasure having you here and meeting you, and I'm so honored that you have accepted to be part of this book. Please go and introduce yourself, because I always say the mother who lives the story tells her story the best. So the stage is on to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shika. Thanks for making me a part of this beautiful vision of yours, bringing moms together all over the world. So the first part of my introduction, I'm a mom of a 16-year-old beautiful pianist who is teaching me so much about life, about myself, and here and there I hope to teach him a little as well and share whatever we share. I am a cellist. I started the cello when I was 7 years old in the Netherlands. Have been performing from Kennedy Center to Sydney Opera House since then, but with a small twist because I introduced the cello to Indian classical music. My guru, Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, has been a great influence, as well as my wonderful, amazing husband, Shubhendra Rao, who is one of India's main sitar players. So we're a family of musicians, and the other thing I want to mention is music education. I set up a music education program for children because I felt that music is a heavily underused subject in basically everywhere. And I wanted to change that, especially the relation children have with Indian classical music in the country. So I set up an entire program that children enjoy. And now over 30,000 children have been empowered. So have a look at sangeetforall.com. Yeah. Oh God, are you okay?
I'll need a sip of water. Just give me a
Yes,
second.
okay, I'll continue. I can make it
No, you
longer.
continue. Again, I'm just getting a sip of water. 1 second. Give me a second.
Yes. So
I went I went off mute so that you couldn't be disturbed because I was listening to everything, but I just needed a sip of water. It
yes.
happens.
No, that's absolutely understandable. So
You can see I'm drinking it off my baby cup because the water is too far. Anyway, the beautiful part about you were like when you were introducing yourself, Saskia, was that of course Ishan is teaching you so much. You know, you introduce yourself saying, "I learn from him, and sometimes I teach him." I love that kind of the raising, and I've always seen that when he was very little. Even then, you used to say that I learned from him. Would you like to talk about that? Like how you've
yeah,
been approaching him for so many years as a teacher rather than a child of yours?
absolutely. And yeah, there's so many parts of being a mother, but I think foremost is not to take ourselves too seriously. And someone once told me, and that resonates deeply with in me, is we just try not to mess up too, isn't it? And if we do that and they're relatively happy and doing well, we must have done something right. So
Right.
that is yeah. And but to do that, to step back like that and let your child freely develop,
Right.
takes probably most effort. To let them fall literally when they're two.
Yes.
Be there when they cry,
Right.
but let them discover the world by themselves.
Right.
I'm, yeah, I think I got that approach of freedom um, from my mother, who passed away last November, um, and who got it again from her mother. My
Wow.
grandmother was a teacher. Her husband had died when my mother was 3 years old,
Right.
and she raised four girls in the Second World War,
Wow.
um, sewing clothes in the night, having Jewish people stay with them to shelter from the Germans. And in her mind, freedom was one of the most important things in child raising.
Right.
One of her statements was, and I'm not sure I agree with it, but I love the sentiment. She says, when a child says he or she is not feeling well, they're not feeling well. Don't send them to school. It's not your. Um, I think it is in stark contrast to the very competitive and
Right.
yeah. So I want my child to live life, to enjoy life to the fullest.
Right.
I once remember another mom telling me, I want my child to get the survival skills in this world.
Right.
And somehow that hurt me because I felt I want my child to live, not just to survive. And if they fall 100 times, yeah, I'm there to help them get up, and hopefully we're able to give that system.
Right.
But we have, of course, that is a huge privilege, and I'm aware of that, you know, um, to be able to do that. But at the same time, I don't think my grandmother had it as a privilege, and she still applied it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. You know what, Saskia, you and just because it's a mother's project and you met Farida ji is here in the comments. Hello, Farida ji, how are you? Thank you for joining in. Um, the fact that I've been saying this since this project has started, that the ripple effect does come down to children. The way the mother shows up is the way the next generation will show up. The way the mother
Absolutely.
feels about herself is the way, even if she's doing consciously or not. And you've gone not to only your mother, you've gone all the way to your grandmother, you know,
Yes,
and see how
absolutely.
the legacy lives through it. Like you can feel so proud of her when you become a mom today, even if she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
That's how it passes off. And that's the pulse I'm talking about. That's the handing over I'm talking about. It's not, it's not just like we have to achieve something or are we good mothers, whatever is
Very
happening.
true. It's not a competition, and you will not get an award Best Mother of the Year.
Yes.
You know, and if it would exist, it would be so phony.
Oh,
You
yes.
know, who cares if you're a good mom? Showing up, being there, giving it your best.
Yes. That's
And
my 100 shades of momshood.
yeah, exactly. And for us, we're both musicians. So Ishan would go on tour everywhere.
Right.
He, um, yeah, we would have like 20 concerts in a month in a tour in North America. I still remember. We were performing in the Kennedy Center in the evening, a really, really big, important, where all the music critics and the New York Times after that wrote movingly meditative. But I was in the Smithsonian in the afternoon to see the dinosaurs,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And what is more important?
Right.
When we played in Paris, we went to the Louvre. I made it a point to show up and do those things with him.
Yes. Yes.
And the great thing is, I see that he remembers those, and that it has somehow it stays with the child when you show up.
It does.
Yeah,
It does. And Sarah is here as well. Good morning, Sarah. It's, I think, pretty early morning for you. Thanks for joining in, Sarah. Slowly, slowly, I know the mums will start coming up as it's closer to 6 o'clock. You'll get more mums joining us because it's the right time. But the like you also said that she helped. She was sewing, and she had, she had Jewish people.
Yeah.
So, Saskia, I'm just getting, somehow these downloads are happening about this mother pulse that's happening. And I'm again and again saying that this mother pulse is not a weak, like, don't consider this as a pulse where mother is totally lost or the pulse is totally lost, she doesn't know. In fact, it's more powerful. If you start aligning and coming closer to this pulse, we do things like what your grandmother did, protected the Jewish people, did what she needed to, gave the child the space they needed to, became all, like, whatever was needed, because she was very close to that pulse. And as
Mm.
we keep moving away, we actually become weaker versus becoming stronger. And that's what I've been telling a lot of people, that I don't know, this pulse that
True.
I'm trying to discover through this project and getting deeper and bringing notice to it. It makes me feel that the more I'm finding it, the more I'm realizing that this is the pulse to stick on to. Like, there should be no doubt. And a lot of times when I'm in doubt, but that's my work. Like I close my eyes and I say, okay, what will that pulse say? That pulse that's running from the ancient times about the mother. And suddenly, rather than feeling, hey, I should be a giver, I become more powerful. Uh,
No, I think you need to experience that pulse deep
yes,
within.
yes,
And for me, perhaps last April, I experienced it the
right.
deepest of all.
Wow,
I had COVID and I couldn't breathe, and there was no space in the hospital.
right,
Shubhendra had to look for oxygen. So there were 2, 3 days that it was, well, a little scary.
right.
But what keeps you strong and confident? It is that deep connection, I think, to the source, whatever you call it.
Right.
I need to be there for my baby,
Yes.
basically.
I'm getting goosebumps. I'm just doing this because I'm getting goosebumps. The minute you said that I experienced it, I'm like really
It's
getting
like, I think it's really, it's so primal, it's so real, and yeah, we are all connected with that part.
this. And the keepers of that, as mothers,
Yeah.
definitely are keepers of that. And you were talking to Jay, who's a weightlifter mom, just like two interviews before, and I was telling her that uh, you know uh, I find her very close to the pulse, and when I was talking to her, I find her unstoppable. And I find her the most closest, versus what people think, that once you're a mother, everything is going to go away from you. You're going to just lie down and you're going to lose your life. You're going to lose your identity. You're going to lose everything. Actually, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. And that's where the modern society is totally away from it. And
True.
I know that, like, when I see you playing, I've had an opportunity of doing the whole shoot with you, what, 10 years back. Like that picture that I've used in the that picture is
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
favorite pictures, because when I see you playing, and even the one that I shot in Lodi Gardens, when I see you playing, I feel that you're connected to that source, which I'm calling a pulse.
Mm,
Somebody can call core. Somebody,
true.
what's that? Let's hear that. That how does music bring you closer to that pulse? And of course, what you just mentioned about COVID. That's
Yeah,
I
that COVID is one, and the other thing, indeed, immediately is it is music. Music. Look, we are live and breathe music.
yes, oh yes,
And a cello. When I play the cello, I sit on the floor because with Indian music.
right,
So up to the day I went into delivery, I practiced my music. So I could just about go sit down with this big belly, but the instrument rested on it. And I am convinced that is what made Ishan who he is.
oh yes,
The vibrations of music. Um, yeah, not to say, oh, my son is so, but he could do crazy things that small
yeah, he does.
children should not be able to. He was reading when he was 2. He finished all the Roald Dahl books by age 4.
Yes.
And not in a, he wanted that to do that. He knew 20 ragas by age 2. He was singing with Bharadratna, Ravi Shankar, back and forth the compositions. I still remember when he was 1.5.
Right.
So music, it's not just close to the source, it is the source.
It is. It is.
It is just the exact reflection of that source.
Right.
Music is vibration.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
is, and it literally is. Every um, even planet Earth has a sound. The planets have a sound. When we talk, we, of course, I mean, on a much more smaller personal level, everyone has their voice, has their vibration in their bodies, in their hearts. You have a heartbeat.
Right.
So we are literally made of music. And yeah, I approach music like that. That is how we live our lives. It is through music. And I think there's so many ways to discover that pulse. For me, it is music. Yeah, I guess for others it is these other things there's no right or wrong here, obviously. Um, but for me, music is super powerful. And when I saw the effect that it had on Ishan, I just read more about it, and I found so much information by neurologists, by philosophers, by mystics who talk about that power of music, just what I'm saying. They all do that. Literally all of them. I mean, whether it's neurologists like Oliver Sacks or the writer of the book Your Mind on Music, or Osho or Tagore, and well, the list, Einstein,
Right.
the list is literally endless of what that power of music is.
Right.
So to me, that was something, yeah, I haven't discovered that, but to me, I felt it is a truth, and we're still not living that anywhere in the world, you know? So why is that? And you
True.
can see the difference. So I think 2014, I started working in the Nizamuddin Basti with girls there to yeah, make sure they stayed in school. Basically, that was the idea.
Right.
And many of them had brothers and fathers who were the musicians in the dargah.
Yeah.
So they knew all the songs. They were very musical, many of them. So it was a joy to teach them, but not only teach them, also teach them how to teach music. So to give them an option for really a profession in music.
Right.
So practical as well. They, yeah, I don't think they would be allowed to perform, but
Yeah.
to teach, of course. There, women are always the song bearers of any culture.
Right. Right. And
So,
that's how you, I think, the whole Sangeet for all. Melanie is here. Good morning, Melanie, joining in the comments. Thank you for joining in. Um, but just letting the international audience know, Sangeet is music. Sangeet
yes,
is music.
music for
Yeah, so she started something called Sangeet for All, and like I'm just letting, like Ishan plays, they play both, all of them, like the whole family is are musicians, and just so dedicated to the pulse that I'm talking about, which comes to me, Saskia, coincidentally through visuals, because when I shoot, things dissolve around me. Absolutely. When I'm photographing people, I see through visuals, and the people start emerging in a very different way in front of me and my camera. And that's been my experience. And this whole project has emerged out of what I see and they're unable to see because of so many chatters and stopping themselves. And your music is just like that. And Sangeet for All, I think, is a brilliant concept. In fact, there were some story books as well Was there storybooks as well that came out, if I
Oh
remember?
yes, I've written 6 storybooks with it, story workbooks. One is about Tara the sitar, who lives with her family in the country of Vadya. Vadya means musical instrument, and
Right,
sitar, of course, is India's most famous string instrument.
right,
So she has friends, Suri the Bansuri, and the naughty Tabla twins, Daya and Baya,
yeah,
and Gatu the Ghatam.
yeah,
These are all personifications of little musical instruments.
right,
Another story about a little boy, Surya, traveling into the land of the Ragas and meeting them in person. And well, a lot of these stories, it's really, yeah. One of the most touching things was one afternoon our doorbell rang and a mother was there with her son. He was 5 at that time, and they came in, and she said, "Well, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but my son knows every word from your book by heart." So, and indeed, he did know everything about the sitar, Sur Bahar, and the grandparents, and this and that. And she said, "Well, you literally saved us because he was not doing well health wise and all. And these books, listening about music, really, really helped him." So it's, yeah, these are the things okay, that's fine. If we can do these things, that's yeah, it's worth 100 times more than whatever New York Times critic or
oh yes, totally.
a good, great concert, which is wonderful in itself. But I guess the experience in the moment is always more. When
Oh,
I'm performing in that concert and I'm there and feel that larger than life connection through
right,
music
right.
with an audience, with whoever is there, um, yeah, that's amazing too. But the afterthought is only ego, I guess,
Right.
isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, again, that whole thing that you're connecting to children and mothers, and you're bringing this to children because as you've like passed a legacy, like your grandmom and then your mom and then you, and now you're passing it further. Ishan will take it further. It's just going to keep passing down, and that's what I'm saying. That as a responsibility of us being moms, and not as any judgments. Oh, this is not right. Like that's why I'm bringing 100 shades. We have a comedian mom. We have all kinds of moms here, and I'm just trying to say, okay, these are 100 shades of mom. There might be million shades of moms, but all of us, we need to start moving towards recognizing the real pulse of a mother, one, her responsibility, to the power of that pulse, so that no mother ever feels that she can't create magical children. She cannot
Mm.
create. Everything is a problem, and we are unable. And of course, there are very many stories that have come out with mothers really struggling in marriages and stuff. There's so much happening. But once she recognizes that pulse, I feel she will get so much power, Saskia, that
True.
I am a mom and I can do anything, and this situation will also not take me down. And that's why I'm bringing 100 shades of inspiring mothers, because this will show the world that mothers can do anything.
I really believe that, and my mom was so amazing that way, you
Right,
know. Um, she always had time for us. She worked as well. She was in the local city council, and everyone in our small community, they loved her, and she was always busy, always. Even when I go back to our place now, they still talk about her. But um, she always had time. And I don't know how she did that because clearly she didn't have always time, but she always made us feel that she had time for us, that we were heard, that she listened to us, that we counted, you know? Never dismissed, never. Um, I think that's, and the other thing, creativity.
Right.
Always encourage children to think for themselves, come up with their own solutions. And yeah, I sometimes feel very bad if I see the school systems that don't give children that opportunity. Oh, that's being too kind. That literally take it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally take it away.
Right.
Whether it is drawing, you can't draw. When if it's music, you can't sing. When it's this, you can't. Whereas, what is education other than self-exploring to find out who are you as a learner?
Right.
And
Right.
then the rest actually kind of happens by itself.
Right.
We don't
I
need
like
to
that.
do much.
I like that. That's the new one for me. That's the new one. That's why settling in that to understanding who, like I've heard that to understanding what you like, what you are aligned with, but who are you as a learner? Wow.
Yes.
That's a gift. Thanks, Saskia. That's a gift to me as a mom as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to start discovering who our children are as learners. Melanie is again a parenting expert here, and she would. I think Melanie, that's a beautiful line as well. What do you think? Sarah is saying music lights up every part of brain. How beautiful to have a baby and child grow up so close to music. Oh, Sarah, you'll have to come from your country to meet this family and see what
Please
music
do.
what music is to them. One fine day, these 100 moms will meet once this book. That's my big vision to each other and say, wow, like we are pages of these book to inspire moms across. But what you just
Wonderful.
said about learners, to discover them as learners is very, very interesting gift, Saskia. Thank you so much for that from as being a mom, because I still have very young kids. So I think both my kids are totally different learners, totally
Mm.
learning. And I like my like I think like me, many moms, we keep trying to compare like the first one, oh, he was not like this, and look at him, and this one is totally different, and you think that you've sorted it out by the time the second is coming, but the second one comes up. But today, as you say, for me to now approach it that he's a different learner, not a different
Yeah, yeah,
personality, but he learns differently and he
completely.
learns differently.
Yes.
As a mom, I need to figure out the learning process and then
I always feel there's too much importance given to talent.
really think that.
Yeah. I really think that
Right.
because talent can be really limiting. Um, if you tell a child, "Oh, you're so good at this," where do they go from there?
Right.
You know, you have to be specific. Oh, I love the way you express yourself through this. You're using colors if it's painting, your voice quality, or whatever. But be very specific. They don't need to be good performers, you know? That's again an external way of judgment. And yeah,
Interesting.
that's yeah, that is one thing I think we always will keep learning about, you know, and maybe yeah, don't care too much about that other part. Of course, they want to do well, but I think not defining the talent too early in the life of a child is very, very helpful
Right.
because
Beautiful.
then they can explore, you know, they can see the world without that luggage. Oh, I'm good at this. Oh, I'm not good at this.
Right.
That's a weight.
Wow.
That, yeah.
So I'm like, you've just thrown me into thinking process right now, and I've just gone back to my kids as well. And like my older one is a very storytelling. Like even if he has to do
Oh.
math, so when he like if you tell him that this is not okay what you're writing, it doesn't work for him. But if I make a story out of it, like if I say, oh my God, why is four
Mm.
wanting to go back home and not, like if he writes it upside down or something. So I try to say, oh my God, like totally four has totally lost it, and it's lost his way and it's going backwards, right? That works for him much better. And I I'm taking this as a gift from you, thinking that recognize his learning, and through that learning, like his learning ability, and then through that, let him
Mm,
express music, art, maths,
absolutely.
English, sport, whatever. Because if that works, then that works. He doesn't have to be different and different learning process. I used to do
And
that.
also, the Greeks, basically, they got it quite right. They said teach children mathematics, philosophy, and music.
Right,
But most of all, music, because the patterns in music are the key to all learning.
right.
And if you compare that to Howard Gardner, who described the 5 different learning styles, I'm sure you've read about that.
I
You're
I haven't.
no? Oh, okay, okay. Logical, verbal, emotional.
I know
I'm
about
sure
it,
one
but
of
I
the
don't.
ha. So I'm sure one of the moms can help you out there. Anyway, he is a famous educationalist and an early childhood specialist, learning specialist, and he
Garner, you
said
said it. You said
children. Howard Gardner.
Howard Gardner. Okay.
Yes,
That'll
yes.
be nice.
5
All right.
learning styles.
Okay, I'll.
Said all children learn through patterns. So if your child is having a hard time with mathematics, do clapping, rhythm clapping with them, or shakers. You can make shakers at home with the small one, and one shake, two, three, four, and then in different rhythms. And so it's much more about in music. You can teach basically everything, and even not when you're not teaching and just doing music, it activates all these parts of the brain that are involved in language or mathematics learning. So I would really tell any parent, please do music with your child. That doesn't mean get a keyboard instructor at home, because that doesn't do anything. But sing with them, clap with them, dance with them, make little instruments. It's
Saskia, you're
nothing.
so gorgeous. You're just so beautiful. Sarah, I think I would love a list of recommend books from you. Sarah, like, do you have any recommendation for books?
Uh, yeah. One is that's the best book ever. I got it from a relative of mine who is a composer in Canada, Hildegard
Oh,
Westerkamp.
she's from Canada itself.
The writer is Schaefer, Murray Schaefer, and he has written a book, The Thinking Ear.
I'm writing it down. That's why. One second.
The Thinking Ear. And he has written other little books as well, for basically activities. And I'll do them in Delhi again. The like things like a sound walk to
Right.
awaken the inner ear, to because when we can listen to our surroundings, yeah, we call it mindfulness as well. I call it music education. So when a child can listen in silence to their surroundings, whether sound is near or far, loud or soft, high pitched, low pitched, all these qualifications help them so much in concentration. Also, when
So amazing, Saskia. You're a You're like you need to start a university. Do you have that plan or not? Because I think post COVID this is so needed. I don't know where your plan with. I know that you have something planned with children. I don't know where it's gone, and I would love to put the links that you have for all the moms. There's so many hearts. Sarah is sending lots of hearts, and she was.
oh, thank you, Sarah.
Um,
No, we do. You can write to us because we do have online music education. It's
I will put the link
and
after you send me. I will edit this live and put the link there.
exactly. So this is the email with the website. So our dear Chandrika, who is a wonderful mom herself, is gonna respond to that email always. Yeah, no, we do a lot. We have this program in schools. I work with parents, not enough because unfortunately there's only 24 hours in a day. But yeah, yeah.
I think you have a whole treasure of knowledge that needs to pass on, Saskia. I mean, I've definitely learned few things, and you know what happens to me at for 70. Like there are some interviews I just totally get lost because suddenly from an interview I go to the mom because the mom is like downloading a lot of stuff. We always moms, right?
Yeah,
We
of
can become
course.
interviewers, we can become anything, or photographers, but when you start speaking to the heart that moms need to hear, and I think it's happening to Sarah at this time because Sarah is just sending a lot of hearts to you the more it's happening.
Oh, thank you.
COVID is
That,
making us struggle a little with the young kids, and there's so much that goes on. There's so much that goes on, and there is like you don't know where and what you just mentioned. Do math with music, shake, right? Shake 3 times. These kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just so priceless, so
I
priceless.
think maybe I should write a book with these activities or do something like that.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
but they do it on the schools where we have this program running. I actually have the teachers teach those things with children.
yes, but
So
maybe a book, definitely saying helping COVID mothers in COVID
yeah, yeah.
because it's not going away. You can see in India, it's just not going away, and the schools are not going to open. And my 2 year old, who should have been in a play school right now, trying to interact, and my so there's like now the older one who's 8 years old, I will have to wean him off to this new world of masks and everything and so much to because he has a notion. My 2 year old doesn't even know what the real school is all about, and if I have to bring him online, it's very painful to start when he turns 3 and the schools still don't open up. Something that you are saying, like even
Mm.
if you come up with short videos, if you don't have time to do a book, I definitely think you can come up with series of short
We have we
videos.
have started online classes for the youngest children. I see it more as also a class for the moms because you get to know these activities. We have these lovely teachers, so yeah, you can always do that. You're in Delhi, so you can come by the center anytime. But even people who are not in India or
I'm in
you know,
Pune now, Saskia. I can't
hmm?
come anywhere. I'm in Pune. I,
Oh, you're in Pune.
yes. I went to Bangalore, then I have come to Pune. So I can't drop by your center, but
No,
I would love
okay.
to do an online class.
Online is, but indeed, don't take it as that they learn online. Yeah, for the youngest ones, no, it's not a great medium. But at the same time, how I see it, it's a nice way to engage them briefly, not longer than half an hour, and then it's a start for an activity where you can just close down the computer. That
Beautiful.
maybe, maybe that is what it should be. Not too long, but yeah. And you're so involved as a mom, which is beautiful. I mean, yeah, one last tip for all the moms who feel they can't sing. Um, to your child, you sound much, much better than Ariana Grande or Lata Mangeshkar, whoever is your favorite, Maria Callas. You sound better than all of them.
So sweet to see that.
Why is that?
Because you're
It's,
connected to the
look, we call it performing arts. It's not that, it's a sharing arts. In communities, in families, when you sing together, that bond you create with your child. My sister is a general physician in the Netherlands.
right.
And we have a lot of conversations about music and all. And in her waiting room, she had a South Indian family with a 2 year old who needed stitches in the head because she had fallen. And she was howling, howling, howling on top of her voice. Didn't understand this Dutch doctor and the language. So my sister said to the parents, why don't you sing the song you sing to your child when she goes to sleep? Immediately the child calmed down and she could just do the stitches.
Beautiful.
So I think that is what, yeah.
Beautiful. Saskia, there's so much to learn, and there's so much. I'm so glad that you're in this book because through this book, of course, another shade of mom through music is going to be. I'm trying to also get the siblings can't come in, but Vijay Lakshmi Lalguri.
Oh, wonderful.
So I had an opportunity of photographing her when I was expecting my second one, and
Yeah.
she come to Bangalore, and then she's like, "No, I really want you to do my pictures," and then I photographed both the siblings, And so I just messaged her today as well, and most likely she's going to be. So having two musicians who live music, and they, I think, are three generations now. Are they three
Oh,
generations?
yeah,
Three to
definitely.
four
Their
generations.
father was so famous, and they're wonderful themselves as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. So to
Fabulous
get
artists.
music to this group of moms across the world like a hug is
Oh,
beautiful. And I just know that this book is going to go to places where we can take this. And I'm just like, something inside of my heart is just like vibrating because I'm really excited because learning is so important for us mothers. And I would be the first one to actually put that book out because so many eyes are there. If you write a book to help people even do a little math activities like that, I think a lot of good work will be done through that. Because honestly, young mothers are totally lost at this point with how to introduce, and India school is not opening this year for sure. It's not going to open.
oh.
Not at all.
Let me do that over the holiday.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. And let's
Um,
move on to you as you know, doing self portraits. You've done portraits, but embracing self portrait. The mothers. So how would you deal with a mom who I'm come with the whole chatter that I'm not beautiful and things are not going okay, um, and
oh,
without
God.
feeling any judge, because I think initially when I started, I still had a little judgment about why do you do that. But when I've come to know stories, I've come to know their childhoods, I've come to know their situations. So many layers are there that makes a mom reach there. You know, do you think music can even dissolve that and bring her out from her negative self-image?
No.
You don't think that?
No, because I often also, and this is a personal story. Um, Again, it transmits. I think my mom never felt beautiful. So indeed, like you said, when people would say, you look like your mom,"
Right.
I didn't like it.
Yes. And I've met
She
many
had
moms the
to,
same. Yeah.
and she had to literally pass away last November for me now to feel so happy and so honored when people tell me that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I guess things are not getting better with Instagram and social media and the stigmatization of getting older, you know? I'm dyeing my hair. I begin to get nice gray hairs, but why do I feel the need to dye it? You know, so I think we are all in that sense, or maybe not, maybe not. I would love to meet a superwoman who thinks she is absolutely amazing and gorgeous and beautiful.
There's, out of
One,
all the mothers I met and I photographed, there's this one mom, and she's like, in fact, not one, two I've met. Out of 200 spoken to, 70 interviewed, two moms stood out, and one of them, and I'll tell you the reason. And if Rashmi is watching here, she is in the book. And she said, you know what, Shika, I don't think so. I ever felt like that. So I don't think so. I'm part of your book because you know, I don't feel that thing about myself, that I have always felt very gorgeous and amazing. So and I'll tell you the story. So you know, I said, you know what, you definitely need to come in because I'm not saying that this is right and everybody has to be in a painful situation. You will become an inspiration. You are also one of the shades of moms we need to bring, but you're a rare. You are definitely a rare. You're definitely one of the rare moms. And then I of course had an interview with her, and they're the Palkiwalas from Mumbai, and they belong to a spiritual family who are direct students of Iyengar yoga, right? So when you have that in your, and her mother was a scientist,
mm-hmm,
very well-known scientist. So is a daughter of science, married to a spiritual family who believes in like who does yoga, and they do yoga. And she had a natural birth at home without any doctors or anybody, with the father-in-law rubbing her back, her mother-in-law, you know, pressing her feet, 24 hours labor. And they only, in the story she said, you know, I just put a medical student out saying, in case we need you, we'll call you. And they didn't need the student. And the husband and then all the family delivered the baby.
well,
And she said, I was allowed to take baths, I was allowed to squat, I was allowed to do whatever. I was in charge of my birth. And second time, it is only her and her husband. And now they teach natural birth at home. And this is Mumbai, Saskia. This is in Mumbai.
In
25.
Holland, it's actually very, very, very common to have a home birth and natural.
Yes.
Natural home birth is very common. They only have a midwife come in.
Yeah, but
So
they didn't even have
that's,
the midwife. They decided to not
yeah,
even have the midwife.
I know, I know.
Amazing.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
But
that mom, so I asked her something. So I said, you know why you don't feel like that? You know why you don't feel like that? Because you're like where you are descending from, the ripple effect I'm talking about
absolutely,
is the spirituality, is
yeah.
the the believing that I'm fit and I can trust that fitness and that yoga, that pulse coming from Anger family, being their students, now doing yoga and promoting yoga, it has come down, and that's why she
So
wrote the book so that she
it's
can
a
be an
ripple,
example.
absolutely. I think it's a ripple effect, but also hard work from her part to
Yes,
have that belief. You
yes.
know, it's yeah, where do you place your values? And then I really admire that.
I
It's
admire her. She's
amazing,
in the book.
wonderful,
You'll meet her. You'll meet her. She's in the book, and I find that story very nice, and I say it many
yeah,
times to many moms because now
amazing.
what that's for sure that when we are getting moms in this world and they're becoming moms, like you've brought music with Ishan, we need the spirituality understanding to the whole
Absolutely,
family. Only then the mom can survive the
yeah.
bad, the negative self-talk. And not only in India, world over, this is what is needed. The whole family embracing, becoming closer to the pulse. So now the pulse I'm talking about, she took charge because she said this, I was in charge of my birth. Nobody
Mm,
else was. And that's the pulse I'm talking about,
yeah.
but majority are not. Majority of us, like, even if I wanted it, I think there would be 100 people around me would have just like totally convinced me that I have totally lost it. But the family together came together to bring this beautiful.
Really beautiful, beautiful story. I love that. And indeed, in central Mumbai, that yeah, amazing.
She's 25 years back in Mumbai, not not to be heard, like, even
Yeah,
today, and but they teach natural work. But anyway, I just wanted to share that story again and again because I
yeah,
am talking
please.
about the mother pulse. And for me, you also gave me just a picture because I'm a visual person of being pregnant with the music. I would love to see that picture if you do have
Ah, I
it.
have it
Yeah,
somewhere. Yes,
yes. You
yeah,
must bring it out and put it in Ishan's, like that's the route Ishan is connected to,
yes.
and so beautiful. I was photographing till 4 days before when the doctor finally said you're jumping around too much, because I was photographing kids because that's what made me,
Yeah,
the visuals and what it did to me internally was amazing. And I was driving around photographing, and that was also not heard of in India, that photographers with backpacks going 9 months pregnant, driving around, going for shoots.
amazing,
Yeah,
beautiful.
ma-
That's really, really, really nice. I mean, to hear that. Yeah,
I didn't give up, and that's what happens to you when you're aligned with your passion and what you love. It only makes you stronger. And
absolutely,
once we become passionate moms, it'll only make us stronger, not weaker.
absolutely,
It'll not make us
absolutely.
weak. And we have to bring this message out through this book. So, what is Saskia's dream?
Oh,
That's how I want to take this interview further. What's her dream? What is, like, when Saskia dreams, what her dream is?
I have so many dreams, but yeah, for I have loads of dreams, and I have also no dream at all because I'm very, and that is really honest, I'm very content where I am, and I feel I'm on the right path.
Right.
I hope I never get there to the grand dream,
Yeah.
because I'm really enjoying this path.
Yeah. The journey is what's making you.
Yeah, really, really, and not always, and I think that is right as well. If we don't have a little bit of both, of bitter and sweet and sour and salt, yeah, life becomes flat, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so yeah, the big dream. I think for a big dream is more for a world,
Right.
right?
Go ahead. Do that.
For
We
a
manifest it too.
future where we hopefully take better care of our planet, and live the right values where each child can indeed express themselves authentically and who they are. Um, yeah, that is what we try to do. That is where I hope to give whatever contribution I can give. Our slogan for our music foundation is that music is the birthright of every child.
Right. Oh,
So,
luck with that.
yeah,
Good luck with
however much we can reach in that direction,
that.
that
I'm 100% sure that you will pass this dream off to Ishan, and Ishan will take it further and he'll keep passing it on. So this is
I need to tell you that he is already doing that, and I'm so proud because apart from being a pianist and he plays well and doing well, he is also giving back. He has set up a complete piano program for children during this COVID time. He is teaching 10 children each week online to make and organized for funds so they could get their own pianos. So I'm very, very happy he is doing that, and I'm sure he'll
he's
continue.
13. Did you say that? He's
No,
13.
he's 16. 16. Yeah.
Wow, I saw him so little. Uh,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. So Cynthia is here. Good morning, Cynthia. I love that, Saskia. It's incredible that you are seeing your dreams actualized already. Yeah, it is, it is. And Cynthia, you need to know this family a little more to know that they've always been very light-footed, very comfortable in the way they've moved. No haste. Even popularity has not gone into their being. And I must bring this on because I've always found you approachable, Saskia. I've always found you and Shubhendra, like whenever even some message exchange on Facebook also, I've always found you people very, very approachable, which is very rare with the kind of popularity that you've got and the kind of success that you've got to be that and to bring stories to children and to feel and to bring it there. I mean, really great work, really, really great work, and I'm totally excited to see where it
Thank
unfolds
you.
and the journey unfolding there.
Yeah.
Cynthia, Farida ji is here. So Farida ji is also an actor and she started her acting career at 51. Cynthia
Oh,
is a teacher and she has three girls, if I'm right, Cynthia. These are all mums, and many mums are going to join. Melanie is a parenting expert. So, Melanie, you also have an opportunity now to interview. She started an interviewing series, and they've got something called Visionary Parenting,
oh,
and
wonderful.
they are interviewing parents from different fields, so music and children. It's a great
Oh,
opportunity for Melanie
would
to.
love to connect.
Oh
Really
yes,
wonderful.
yes. So Cynthia, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've gifted me some things. It will take me some time to digest, and like I've made my notes, but I know the minute I switch off and I go hug my children, a lot of download is going to happen. And both my boys are going to benefit even from this. I've been like many, many gifts have been given in this journey. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting as a mom. If people ask me, what are you getting out of this? This is what I'm getting. I'm getting to learn from various mothers the best that they have and understand it and download it and pass it to my children. So thank you for that gift. It's amazing.
It's such a amazing, wonderful project. When you approached me, I had no idea of the extent of what you're doing, and I feel privileged to be mom number 69, honestly.
Yes, and many, many things are going to happen. I know it. I've been saying it. The closer I'm reaching to 100, Saskia, I feel the earth below me is shaking. And I don't know what it is, but I'm trusting the universe and going forward because many things are going to. I know I finished 100. A lot of things are opening up for all these mums, for mums in general, for the mother pulse in the bigger picture. So we will see where we reach. We will see things unfolding. And thank you for being on this journey with us. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We will go off live and stay back. And Cynthia, thank you so much. Farida ji, thank you so much for being here. Many mothers I know are waking up and going to leave comments. So thank you.